the younger women now are just as willing to have that same conversation that you're willing to have with these women that have matured to that place. So I think it's a change in mentality in women as a whole, right? In terms of that. And I think goes to like what Marcus was or Mike, I'm not sure who it was who was saying about like women are willing to lie to themselves. I think that's become a common culture in women across all age brackets.
Let
It
me just
sounds
say
like
this.
go
But
ahead, Sam.
why do we think one is, to me, in both scenarios, I felt like they were both snakes. Why is it that we think it's okay for one, but it's not okay for the other? We can sit here, let's just be honest. We sit here and we try to preach doing right, so we want women to do right. But what are we doing right for if men are manipulating what's right? Hurt people hurt people. Everything is a consequence. So if you continuously getting played and you like, dang, he don't even want me for just sex and you're manipulating me, it's going to be a combat, and vice versa. He may be like, oh, she just want me for money, I'm going to play her. It seems like it's a tit for tat and nothing is getting on point and nothing is going to be right because they're just too busy out here trying to hurt people, and people have become numb to other people's feelings. They don't care. And now we live in a society where we're reaping the consequences are there.
It sounds like
So-
people. Go ahead, Enos.
No, go ahead. I'll go after you.
Okay, I'll be quick. It sounds like on both sexes are not being intentional and not thinking long term. And in order to do so, you have to even know what you want and communicate. Like, why are we not just being upfront and communicating? It's like, but we'd rather just waste, because you're wasting your time if you're, well, first, you're wasting your time if you're not being intentional. But if you're not communicating, also, you're wasting your own time, especially ladies. Hello. And his time, and it's so reckless. I don't understand.
Before Nas goes, I know you want to go real quick. This is one thing I want to point out. The older you get, the easier it is to be completely upfront and honest. The older women get, the easier it is for them to accept that honesty. Because I can go to a bar and let's say all I want is something for the night. The older the woman is, the easier it is for her to hear me say, hey, look, I'm not looking for anything serious. You want to do something tonight? You say that to a younger girl, back when I was younger, like, oh no, what you think I am, a hoe? Well, yeah, I do, but I mean,
but you can only respect the honesty. I don't think that necessarily, if a man comes to you, he doesn't know you. It's a perception. So he can say, I can think, yeah, you can think everybody in the building is a hoe. You can go to church and think everybody a hoe. It's just a thought, So it's up to you and how you respond. So no, I'm not down for that. That's not how I move. But the point is, I can respect anybody who is honest in the situation. It is when the dishonesty comes, if you're sitting here playing like you want a relationship with somebody and you don't, you just want to get in their pants, you are being dishonest.
So
people
two
have
parts.
to make decisions.
Yeah, so I want to respond to AP, like AP, and then make the statement about the original question. So AP, it's the same women. It's the same women that when you were younger you couldn't talk to that way, who now at this point in life are willing to accept it, right? Like there's a growth process. Whereas the younger women now are just as willing to have that same conversation that you're willing to have with these women that have matured to that place. So I think it's a change in mentality in women as a whole, right? In terms of that. And I think goes to like what Marcus was, or Mike, I'm not sure who it was who was saying about like women are willing to lie to themselves. I think that's become a common culture in women across all age brackets. But Shan, to what you were saying, I think we do this thing sometimes where like we really demonize people on their actions because we take it personally because we're on the receiving end of it, right? At the end of the day, there's a whole lot of people who grew up in either dysfunctional homes, single parent homes. They grew up with their grandparents, or like, you know what I mean? Whatever situations that they went through, it's self-preservation. They see it as survival mechanism, even though on another side of it, when we're not personally affected, we look at it as just sex. We look at it as just, a fling. We look at it as a situationship. These are people who are starving for connection, who are doing what they need to be able to like live life. They just released a study about how lack of human connection is just as bad as like terminal illness. Like it has physical repercussions, right? People are so desperate to connect that it really is survival. And I think on the receiving end, we look at it and we're like, you're such a bad person for doing this. They need it, right? And instead of having the conversation of like, hey, here are alternative ways to get what you need, we're looking at them, we'll be like, bad. And yes, shame is a very powerful tool and it has a really great function. However, applied the wrong way, it's really counterintuitive, right? And I think the moment we can kind of start to look at the humanity of people, of like why they're doing this and not strictly out of maliciousness, we can start to like be like, okay, here's how we would handle that differently, right? Not necessarily therapy, but like coaching, mentorship, or leading by example. Unfortunately, there just aren't enough examples of people who are doing it the right way and getting the results that they need versus the people who are doing it and replicating it through like manipulative tactics.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That doesn't work for me. You know when you're doing wrong. When you're lying to people,
My
It's
thing
okay.
is
You know you're lying.
is what you were saying, the manipulation aspect. Because if you're honest, there is a woman or some women that are willing to still sleep with you, even if you're honest. The problem comes when it is you want that one, and you know she's not willing to sleep with you if there's some standards or strings attached to having sex with her, and because is your ego or you feel this is what I want and I'm going to have it by any means necessary. So you do the things that you do in order to get it. What I'm saying is you want it. Yes, you can have is a need, but it doesn't mean you need it from her. Like if Shan, let's say you're honest with her, and this is just an example. You're honest with her, and she's willing to give it to you, and Inaz isn't, but you want to do it with Inaz. My thing is, why go and lie with Inaz when you know she set a standard for the way she wants to give it up? Just go to Shan. If you're honest,
because I ain't done it yet.
Hold on, y'all. This is why fathers and fathers' logic is so important.
Oh, I agree.
This is why a father's logic is so important. This is why men do not default to trying to control all men for the safety of women. It will never happen because you understand the nature of men. Therefore, you plead with your daughter and you protect her to close her legs.
Answer that question, Mike.
Hold on. Why do we always talk about women in this sense like y'all are lifeless robots that are here at the mercy of men? You have 100% choice in the matter to keep your legs closed and deny men. Listen, the one thing we know as men, it doesn't matter how many men we correct. It only takes one to impregnate all of you. Only one. So unless we get 100% compliance, which is perfection, and we know perfection does not exist, that one person can spoil the entire bunch. So what we do is tell our daughters, because we know how men are, protect the one thing you have to give, the most sacred thing to you to get you what you want at the end of your life, which at the end of the road is marriage, children, to a capable, high-functioning man. Keep your legs closed. That's why we always default to that. These men are hunters. Their one goal in life. Just the same way I cannot stop a bear from going to eat his prey. I cannot stop a man for trying to get in a woman's legs. It's impossible.